Hey, babe.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. You?
Good, thank you.
What are we doing today?
Got a special guest on the channel today, actually. We got Mike Bracken joining us. He's a caddy on the Champions Tour for Scott Verplank. So we're gonna spend a little bit of time with him and pick his brain, find out what some of the differences he sees between recreational golfers and elite tour players. And one thing that I'm very excited to talk to him about is how he reads greens, because that is an area that I feel I need some improvement, especially when it comes to grainy greens like down here in Florida. So stay tuned, a lot of good stuff coming to you guys today. So Mike, thanks for being on the channel, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, appreciate you being here. A couple questions for you. First thing, how'd you get into caddying?
Well, it's kind of like, being in the right place at the right time.
Sure.
I played college golf and, wanting to be a pro golfer, you know what I mean? And the bag came open, didn't think I was going to do it, full time, and here is 25 years later, so.
Really, 25 years now you've been doing this?
Yes.
Good for you. Yeah.
But I tried to count last night how many guys I kind of worked for, and I've lost count.
Okay, that many, yeah.
Which, a lot of caddies get fired.
Sure.
Knock on wood. I've never been fired.
Really?
Yeah, how about that?
Wow, that's a notch in your
How
belt.
about that?
All right, so first off, let me just ask you, how do you read a green?
One of the questions I had for you, not to throw it right back at you, is you an aim point guy or not?
Yes.
You are?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not aim point, but I've started integrating my feet a lot more than I used to. Okay, so I don't do the whole, the fingers. I kind of tried it. It didn't really work. I mean, I didn't find I was making any extra putts. Do you do visual at all or aim point only?
When I'm playing, I've basically just the aim point,
Okay.
And you're not right every time.
Right.
And I've heard all the commotion on social media about it's taking
Slow play.
But if you think about this, if we have this putt here,
Yeah.
and you step inside here, aim point, boom.
Right.
So how is that slowing golf down? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it gets a bad rap on social media.
Correct.
Especially when the guy's got like a foot and a half and you just get the image of him standing here.
I get
right?
it, but it's just as bad, I think, when they line up that putt.
Sure.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah,
With
absolutely.
the line,
Absolutely.
This whole line thing from a foot, it's just
Like I've played with guys who employ aim point on the greens, and yes, some of them are slow.
Right.
But there's also guys who are purely visual who are slow. I think
Correct.
the problem is more the player, not the method.
That's right.
Right. I guess recently you've been working for Scott Verplank.
Scott Verplank, yeah.
Yeah. How many years you and Scott been working together?
This is our 6th year.
Okay. Okay, because he's had quite some success on the Champions.
He's had a really good PGA Tour career.
Yes, he did.
Back in
yeah,
the day.
of course. Yeah.
Of course, amateur career, he was one of the best. And he's been battling some injuries.
Yeah.
Past few years. So
Okay.
getting a little older,
Sure.
injuries takes time to heal.
Early 60s now, Scott?
Yeah, I think he just turned 60.
Okay. Yeah.
Which you don't have much Bermuda up there.
No, we don't. Well, grain is almost non-existent.
So down here in the south, I mean,
Yeah.
it's almost more important than the slope.
Yes, I came to learn that.
Okay.
I found out the hard way at Q school a
Right.
couple years ago.
I mean, if you don't know how to read grain,
Yeah,
it'll make you look silly sometimes.
I felt silly.
And what I've come to learn, using the aim point system, yes, I feel the slope, but then I take in consideration grain because I'm from the south.
Sure.
I know what it does.
Yeah.
This is a good example. I mean, you can see where the edge of the hole here is where it's kind of, burned out, cut out, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
That's which way the grain's
Sure.
going.
Just for the viewer at home, because the grass is able to grow down this way
Correct.
into the edge, but it's unable to grow from the edge
Correct.
out.
You're correct.
Right? Okay.
So this will be down grain.
Yeah.
It's a simple way. Most golf courses, you can tell by just stepping side to side and see the different angles.
Right. Yeah.
Shiny down,
Exactly.
dark into.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Because I guess that's an easy way to figure out what the grain's doing around the hole. But
Yes.
if you got a 30 or 40 foot putt,
Correct.
it could go into, again,
Correct.
down, whatever, multiple times throughout the putt.
Yes, for sure.
But I guess at that point, yeah, that's still going to affect break, but it's going to affect the pace a lot as well, right?
Right. And that's
Okay.
what we, probably 60% of the time when we're reading grain.
Yeah.
Especially down grain at the hole,
Sure.
it's going to roll out.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, and if it's into, it's going to be, a little bit slower, and you got to pay attention to your speed, like you
yeah,
said.
yeah. Like, you've obviously witnessed some great golf throughout your career, throughout your life. Is there one, two, maybe three things that really separates the guys that you've worked for, other guys that you guys have paired with, from, let's say, a top amateur or even recreational golfers? Like, what's the it factor as far as you're concerned?
You know, what I've seen amateurs and pros,
Mhm.
it's number one, the pros usually get the ball around the hole.
Yeah,
Pin high, just past, just short.
sure.
Amateurs really don't know how far they hit it.
Yes.
And then the short game. They're great putters and great chippers at the golf ball.
Yeah.
If I had a tip to give everyone out there, practice from 100 yards in.
Mhm.
That's where you score.
Absolutely.
All they want to do is see how far they hit.
Exactly.
But I'm a college golf coach now.
Yeah.
So I really work with the kids on 100 yards in.
Yeah.
Trying to teach them, hey, the game of golf is just not how far you can hit it.
Mhm.
It's how you get it around the hole.
Sure. Yeah. The ultimate goal is get the ball in the hole, right?
So,
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we were speaking briefly earlier. Is it 5 years now that you're
Yes,
with
5
Jefferson
years.
State?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
5 years.
Good.
A lot of fun.
I'm
Love
sure it's got to be a good experience. Got to be pretty gratifying to
I love it.
help these kids come up
Yeah.
and get better.
I love it.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
It seems like to me you have green reading mapped out,
Mhm.
but I guess you're not making enough putts.
Yeah, I feel like at times it's just not good enough. I don't miss by wide margins that often.
But we'll go back to the number thing.
Yeah.
What do you think the average from, let's just say 9 feet on the PGA Tour is making?
It's it's less than 50%, because 8 feet is 50%, right?
Right.
Which is a wild stat. It's nuts.
So,
Yeah.
and I think that's what happens to people. It's not they misread, they just think they should make more putts.
Sure. Sure.
At the end of the day, if you make 2 or 3 of those and you have 5 or 6, I mean, you're right there with
You're right
PGA
there.
Tour
Yeah.
stats.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Don't put as much pressure on your putter.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you start hitting the ball in the right spots, you
Yeah.
won't have to worry about that. And I think you'll start seeing more putts being made.
Sure.
That makes
And
sense.
I guess by hitting the right spots, you mean to leave it below the hole, give it a more aggressive stroke kind of thing.
Right. And that's where a caddy-
not leaving ourselves this putt right
Exactly.
here, which
Exactly.
is downhill, down great, with a bunch of turn on it, right?
Right.
When it comes to course management,
Mhm.
I've learned a lot about course management over the past few years. I thought I had a decent understanding of it, and then I played PGA Tour Canada a few years ago, and when you get pins that are 3 or 4 paces from the edge of the green, your decision making becomes very, very important, even if you have a wedge in your hand. And I did not know what I was doing. Did not have a very good season, even though I felt like I was playing some very good golf. And realized at the end of the year, most of that came down to how I managed the course, how I picked my targets. So I actually I signed up for the decade system.
Okay.
Do you have your own system? Is it a player by player?
It is a player by player.
Yeah.
But the decade system is a great system, but
Mhm.
we do things a little bit different. But it's still a good system. I mean,
Sure.
If you're not learning, you're behind the ball.
Absolutely.
You're just losing steps if you're not trying to. Because 25 years and I'm still learning every single day.
Right.
And that's what it's all about.
Yeah, I just found it was really helpful just to have some kind of direction when it came to, because I mean, anytime I had a wedge in my hand that season, I just fired at the flag.
That's all right. And it was funny that you say fire at the flag. I was on TikTok the other night and Tiger Woods came across.
Yeah.
And somebody asked him how many flags did he shoot at. And he said maybe 1, and they said that's too many. So the older guys, we don't usually fire at pins. We fire at spots on the green.
Yeah, which makes a lot of sense to me now.
Yes.
Once you have an understanding of that, again, something I find the recreational golfer really can learn from, and it also just having a system. It really helped me in my practice. Give me some kind of, well, especially because in Canada we do so much practice indoors,
Yes.
right? So you're not necessarily firing at a green. You're just on this virtual driving range, and I'll see that I'll hit a 7-iron and I'll hit my yardage, but it's 30 feet left. And I used to be kind of upset with that. And then I kind of realized, let's say the missed window for a tour pro. And once I realized that, like, hey, 30 feet left, pin high, from just under 200 yards out, there's really no reason to be upset with that.
It's really good.
It's a damn good golf shot.
Real good shot.
Where I used to beat myself up over that.
And that's what that's what these kids are doing. And I hate to say this on camera, but I blame TV
Sure.
because the kids just see the good shots.
I have this conversation with so many of my students.
and they just don't see the bad shots.
Yes.
You know,
Listen,
If-
we're
if-
fed a highlight reel.
if guys would just come hang out with me for the week, and you see all the shots. You know,
Yeah.
you see the good ones and the bad ones, and we're all humans. We're not perfect, so we're not gonna hit perfect golf shots.
Sure.
And I talked about earlier about the short game.
Yeah.
That's why they're pros and
Absolutely.
you know.
We all miss, but
That's
a lot
right.
of times they can make up for the miss with the short game.
and what you just said with the decade golf.
Mhm.
These guys know where to miss it.
Correct.
Where the amateurs, short side themselves. Or
Oh yeah.
whatever, and can't get it up and down.
Yeah.
And there's a few holes out here that if you short side yourself, you just
Sure. I think we can say
chip
that
it off
for,
the green and
say that for any golf course.
Right.
It's always spots you don't
Right.
want to be.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So this
I'd
part
be.
here-
Yeah, that's it. I'd be interested. Like we've already got a ball down.
Okay.
Walk me through how you. And I'll walk you through how I would read it.
Okay.
And I just want to kind of compare and contrast the
Okay.
strategies there.
All right. So I'm getting right here. I'm just like that.
That quick.
That quick, and it's probably a 3.5% slope. So then I stand back by here behind the ball, give it a 3, give it a little bit more, and I'll put it right out in here.
Really? That's how long you been doing aim point?
Almost 10 years.
Okay, so like you're quick now. Because I've never seen anybody kind of get to their spot and just like literally put both feet down and walk away.
We spend a lot of time with the level,
Yeah.
training our feet. So,
That's
and
unbelievable.
it's funny, I work for Scott now, and he said, do your feet thing.
Yeah.
So he's one of the best putters in the world. you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So,
But he's not he doesn't practice aim point.
no, he doesn't practice aim point. So,
So who reads the putts between the two of you?
both.
Okay.
He
Yeah.
gets my opinion.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
is
Is that like across the board every putt?
I think so.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, you
Yeah.
have to hit the putt.
Right.
You know how hard you're going to hit it.
Yeah.
Being a caddy, we're going to give you, we're not going to say this ball breaks left or right.
Sure. Yeah.
We're
Yeah,
going to give you where we think. And,
Right.
we roll some balls, or we know where the fall line is, or we know
Yeah.
the percent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's I'm still shocked at how quickly you can figure out what that slope
And
is.
That's what I'm keep saying. How can that be slow play?
Well, after seeing you do it, I would have no argument.
I
after
didn't.
seeing
I just walked up there and felt it and got out.
Yeah.
Right.
Because like I'm gonna walk you through how I would read
Okay.
this now, and I guarantee you it's not that fast, right? So I like to look at multiple sides.
Okay.
Right now I will use my feet to a certain extent as well, and part of what I do when I'm using my feet is just let's say I had my marker down right now, is actually stand where I'd be, hitting the putt from, kind of feel what's happening underfoot. Now I usually like two sides to look at.
Okay.
This being a downhill putt, I will practically never read it from above the hole.
Okay.
Okay, and the reason for that, one of my old coaches, the analogy he gave me was like reading down the hill is like, imagine if you had a magazine in your hands and you were reading it like this, right? Reading,
Right.
yeah, which I was like, okay, wow, that makes a ton of sense. So I'd come down here so that I'm reading up the magazine like a normal person would, right? And try and figure out what I see in terms of slope,
Right.
right? And then I'm gonna take a look on the low side as well. Again, I'm not gonna get as much information from the high side. So that for a downhill putt, especially one that's moving right to left, those are the two sides I'll look at. There for break, here for slope. And then I'll come back, and I would have picked a pretty similar spot to where you had yours. Where did you have yours? Right around
Yeah.
here?
Yeah.
Yeah, so on this specific putt, we got
Yeah.
about the same read.
And
Right.
and bulletproof is, bulletproof. Aim point is not bulletproof. It's
Sure.
called aim point. So
Right.
It just gives you a point to aim.
Yeah,
And your systems. Everyone's different,
yeah,
but it's still the same system.
sure.
You
Yeah,
just did
it's
it a little
di-
different.
different means of getting a very similar result.
And another
Right.
way, we from chipping, putting,
Yeah.
is where do you think the straight in uphill putt is?
Right, so I've seen a video where Bryson talked about this, right? If you're trying to figure out which way the putt's going or how hard it's going to turn, find the straight putt and figure out where you are relative to
Correct.
that 12th to 6 line, right?
Right.
So, on this one here,
It's got to be down there in the
it's got to be down,
Yeah. So
yeah,
basically
about
that's-
here.
That's going to be the fall line. So
Yeah.
everything breaks towards that area.
Sure.
And we're basically what?
Yeah, we couldn't have given ourselves a much harder putt.
Exactly. Exactly. But why don't you hit this thing and just
Sure.
see what happens? It's down grain,
Yeah, yeah, it's going to be pretty quick.
pretty big slope.
Yeah. Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
I
Just
thought
a
I
little
had
too
just
hard.
tapped it.
Yeah. you know, that's the thing. I mean, it's down grain. You got to pay attention to those things.
Yeah.
I mean, but like you said earlier, just don't leave yourself in this position.
Right. No, that's job number one would be don't be there.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's where we want to be.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. But you want to be there putting for birdie, not
Right.
for your par, like
Right.
I would be in this situation. All right, Mike. So we're here, first hole. It's like a 356-yard par 4 downhill. It's not a long hole, but it doesn't yield a ton of birdies. Let's say we were here at a tournament. You were on the bag for me.
All right.
How would you tell me to play this hole?
Well, I would ask you, number one, which I would know this, but
Sure. Yeah.
so what is your strong point for the full shot? Like you know,
Right.
80-yard shot, 90-yard shot, 100-yard shot. That's what I would ask you, you know, prior to getting here.
Sure.
And then, you know, like you said, it's 350 yards downhill to a green, which, having a little knowledge of the green, I mean, it really slopes away from you. So
Yes.
you don't want to hit driver and have some kind of chip shot where
Right.
you can't stop it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would, you know, I would probably tell you to try to hit something, you know, 235, 240 yards.
Yeah.
To have that full wedge in there so
Sure.
we can be able to spin it a little bit.
Okay, good. So we're on the same page there.
So
Okay.
what we do is, you know, we try to make the best score on the hole.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you have a 240-yard shot down there and you have a sand wedge or pitching wedge
Yeah.
in, that's
Yeah.
a pretty good chance of making 3.
All right. I like that.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab my forearm and see
Okay.
what we can do here. And in terms of like an aiming point off the tee, do you guys get down to like the nitty gritty of what side of the fairway you want to be on, depending on where the
depending
pin
on the
is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's, you know, this one's kind of center of the green. And
Yeah.
So this is really nothing. But, you know, we still pick something in the background. You know, let's see that tallest green tree that's maybe right behind the flag.
Yeah, out in the distance
Yeah,
there,
so
past the roof of that house
yeah.
there. Yeah.
So that's, you know, that's what we kind of do out there.
Okay.
We pick something out there in the distance and
And I guess you're trying to get as specific as you can with that target, right?
Yes.
And that's that.
yeah,
Well, some people call it the sniper mentality, right?
That's
the
right.
aim small, miss small.
that's right. Hope you're loose.
I'm not. I am not. Travel day yesterday.
Beauty there.
Yeah, I mean, like it's not a great strike, but there's nothing wrong with that.
Right, we're gonna have a pitching wedge. You know?
Yeah,
I mean, it's
exactly. We got a wedge in.
All right.
We'll take that.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just glad I made contact.
How'd you play this morning, though?
I played it bad back then. I think I shot even par on the front.
Okay. Which is pretty good on that front.
Yeah,
Front's tough.
I just kind of lost focus on the back. You know, I mean,
That never
didn't
feels
bird
good.
the par 5s. You know,
Yeah.
and that's where you really got to get it. You know, get the par 5.
Absolutely. That's fun, especially on this course.
All right, so we are in the fairway. We got a little mud. We're gonna play it down, right? We're not gonna do any preferred lies right now. Although I am gonna use the slope on my rangefinder.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
So
I'm gonna guess it's probably playing 3 or 4 yards downhill.
yeah, I got 142 playing 138.
So
Now, do you know that because you played here, or can you just see that?
I can just kind of see it. You know?
Yeah,
It's
that's
just,
wild.
Like I said, 25 years of doing this. It's,
Yeah.
It's like anything else. I mean, like riding a bicycle, you see it and.
Sure. You even pace things out when you're on
No.
tour?
All right, so, but you know, yes, we got 145 yards.
Mhm.
The number that we really need to know on this hole is how far do we have to clear the bunker?
Right. I can give you that. 125 to clear the bunker.
25?
Yeah, so there's
That's
a
the-
reasonable amount of space
Okay.
there.
So, and you know, a little downhill, so now we're talking 23-ish to carry the bunker,
Yeah,
left or right wind.
yeah.
You know, if we were playing, I'd say, you know, James, what about a, 132, 33-yard shot?
Yeah, I like that.
That clears the bunker, and it's going to release. I mean, because everything's
Oh,
sloped away
sure,
from it,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. It can be pretty hard to stop it on this green at
That's right.
times. Okay, so that's for me. Like I got like a soft pitching wedge, kind of 3/4. Wind almost feels a little down right now,
But I
but
was about to say, it's kind of switching on us.
yeah. But I still like. I wouldn't want to go down to my gap wedge here because
Correct.
if I don't catch it real good, that it brings that bunker into play.
Right.
Right,
And all my years, I've never seen a tour pro
Mhm.
hit a wedge hard.
Right.
Because what happens? You spin it.
Yeah.
You know, even if you're not going to spin it off the green on this one, but on most golf courses we play, hit a hard wedge, you're putting, 10, 11, 12,
Sure.
13,000 worth
Sure.
of spin on there.
Yeah.
And you can't control that.
Yeah.
So, like you said, a 3/4, I mean, I think that's what every tour pro
Yeah.
tries
Kind
to
of do in this
you know?
situation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it's pretty center. I'd say right center. So we can essentially go straight at it. Maybe start at a hair left just because of the wind.
Well,
a little off the left.
That's what I would probably do. But you know, if you remember, there's a little slope left of the hole.
Yes, sir.
Like that. So you know.
Well, that's it. Where is our? I mean, you played this one this morning. Where's our best lead?
I would say short right.
Short right's the best lead?
Yes.
Okay, now the wind feels like it's into.
Which, you know, that's another thing I was going to tell you. When caddying,
yeah,
you know, we have compasses that, you know.
Yes.
But you know, you get into these little wooded areas,
right?
It could swirl.
Of course.
But above the trees, the wind's not doing.
No, it's
doing
constant up there.
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
So you know, the big thing is pay attention to your wind chart. And trust it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, I mean,
so
I think I would just kind of aim right at it.
That's what I'm thinking. Go at it, and if the wind takes it right,
that's right.
Fine. Okay. And we said like 132, 133
But I think our biggest
shot.
thing here is just make sure we get it over the bunker.
Yeah.
You know.
And like there's a little bit of mud, but
yeah,
I don't think it's enough to really affect it. Yeah, pulled it.
Whoa! We got that. You see that gust? It came back this way. But you know, that happens.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I felt like I hit that pretty crisp.
You're right.
Well, wind got us there.
Another thing is people may be wondering, why are you trying to, you know, just fly the bunker? Well, number one, it's going to give us our best chance to make 3 or 4.
Right.
Because if you knock this thing over the green, if you look behind it, it all slopes away from you.
Yes.
You're going down in the hazard. So, you know, that's what we do. We try to put the ball in positions.
Okay.
We use something called BPN, which is your ball position nearest edge of the green.
Okay.
Or slope.
Right.
And that's when we try to figure out, kind of like the decade stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is where we need this ball to be in.
Sure.
And usually we try to, you know, we try to do it like in a 10-yard radius or something.
Right.
So it don't have to be perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And like you said earlier, 30 feet, you know, is a good shot.
Right.
Which we got a little mess up with the wind there, but you know, that happens.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, golf is hard.
And you know, you're still not loose. I mean, you've flown all morning, and
appreciate you throwing the excuses out there for me.
That's what good caddies do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, so we got an interesting one here. So after the wind ate that and came up short, plugged in the bunker. So we're getting it all on this first hole right now. All right, so if I'm looking at this, obviously it's not an ideal situation.
No, it's but as a player, you know, you have to decide how. Look, you know, caddies can tell you one thing, but the player has to decide how he's going to hit this shot.
Yeah, yeah. The one thing I do like about this is at least we got green to work with.
That is correct.
It might actually be hard to keep this on the green because it is running away from us. But if it goes just off the back, I mean, you gotta accept we're in a bad spot,
absolutely.
right? And I guess manage the expectations from there.
Luckily, we have a little uphill lie, maybe help us a little bit.
Yeah, it should help a little bit. So I'm gonna go. I brought my 60 and my 55. I'm gonna go with the 60, just because I wanna hopefully try and stop it on the green. But this is gonna be one of those kind of like turn it down, just make sure I get it out kind of shots.
That's right.
You know, I'm not gonna do anything crazy, try and get height on this and make this worse, right?
All we want to do is get it out there, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just pop it out and
hope they give us some kind of putt.
It's my second bunker shot in 4 months, and it's what it came out.
Yes, you know, that's not all bad.
No,
you know,
hey,
that's what we do.
It came out, and that was the job.
Yeah.
Hey, you're not on duty today?
Well, you know, that's what caddies do, right?
All right, so I'm gonna get Mike to read these putts. Basically, the exercise we're doing right now, Mike's the boss. Mike is gonna tell us how he would get his player or what he'd suggest the player should do. And then I just gotta try and execute on that plan. So we'll get him to read the putt, and I'll just try and hit the line and the pace.
So here we go.
Yeah, I guess if you're aim pointing this, you gotta do a couple spots,
right? That's right. Usually I go about, you know, 1/4 of the way there.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the first, you know, 8, 9 feet, the ball's still kind of skidding a little bit.
Sure,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
well, it's gonna have so much pace on it as well, right? Yeah.
So I get in here and I feel, you know, this way.
Yeah.
Continue to walk up here a little bit. And I still feel a little this way, but I'm feeling this.
Yes.
So we have to pay attention to the grain.
Yep.
We got it down grain again.
Yep.
So we got a little left to righter, down grain, downhill, downwind.
Yep.
Gonna have some speed to it.
Yeah, that's fun. It's fun. It's good. It's good. What would your start line be on
so,
this?
My aim point would be in this area here.
Okay. Okay, I like
Is that kind of where you're looking, or?
Yeah, I had a similar spot.
And you have to be careful because I stood over here and I feel some of this, so we can't get it too far this way.
Of course, because there is that little
ridge there.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
okay. All right.
You really have to be precise on your point here.
Yeah. And I mean, really, like, yeah, I want to get the line, but I just really want to feel the pace on this one.
Well, a little bit harder, and I think you've got it right in the middle.
Yeah, I like that. I expected that to be a little quicker. Yeah. Now that I'm looking at this, do you see, is there a bit of a rise at the end there?
There's a little rise here.
Yeah, see, I didn't see that till after.
Yeah, but I thought the down grain would kind of keep that in play.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I scared myself after we picked that putt on the putting green. Because that thing was quick. So I guess this is going to be just a shorter version of what we had, right?
Right, but you know, I'm not feeling too much there.
No, because we're not on quite the same angle. This is almost straighter down the hill, but down grain, still downwind. What do you say?
So I would probably say inside the hole.
Yeah, I was thinking like left center.
Because you know, you see this grain is going almost this way.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be shocked. I'm not saying it's going to pull it, but I wouldn't be shocked to see it maybe try to pull left.
But at least it holds up the brake a little bit, huh?
Correct. There you go.
Okay. All right. Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I did mean to hit that firmer. Thought I left that short for a second.
Where'd it
go? It went in the hole. Went in the hole. So I'm happy. I'm happy. I was gonna say you were saying earlier you had never been fired, but if we'd made double on the first, it might have been the first one.
Well, you know,
video over.
You know, just because it's a par 5 doesn't mean that we have to hit driver here.
No, absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Yes, of course.
If we're playing tournament, you know, if you're out here with your buddies, yeah, let's try to get that baby up there. But if we're playing a tournament, you know, maybe driver or 3-wood's not even the right plate, because how far is the hole? 475
ish. Yeah.
I mean, 4 iron, and
right.
Get what I'm saying? I mean, just because it's a par 5, everybody hops out with driver.
Yeah.
Everybody hits driver, and you know, sometimes, and I tell my college kids, just because it's a par 5 doesn't mean you have to hit driver.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I mean, it makes a lot of sense, right? Don't force yourself to try and do anything you're not comfortable doing.
Because
it doesn't normally work.
On this hole, we have out of bounds right, and we have out of bounds left.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what do you want to do? We want to get the ball in play. If we're playing tournament.
Job number 1, of course.
That's right.
Of course. Yeah. But seeing as I'm comfortable hitting cuts now,
there you go.
We will hit driver.
Yeah, for sure.
And actually, they've made this a little tougher today because they got the tee blocks all the way on the right side.
Yeah.
But that's all right. So
what are you thinking with this club here? I mean,
so from where where the blocks are today, like normally that I'd go more left side. Obviously, rules of golf are not going to allow me to do that today. What I normally do is try and start it kind of the middle of the group of pines, and fade it from there. Right. Of course, I can't get as aggressive from here because of this one overhanging branch.
That's what I was going to point out. I'm like, you know, we can't really get it too high or too aggressive.
Yeah.
To take that line, but you know, once again, you can't take a left line either. So.
No, but I think if I go kind of left edge of the pines and fade it off of that,
there you go. I think you're fine there.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And I mean, even if it doesn't fade as much as I'm looking for it to, like, yeah, it'll go through the fairway, but it shouldn't reach the OB.
Yes.
Right, I'd have to hit it really hard, and I don't think I'm warm enough to do that. So, and just like every other shot, just gotta pick a line and commit to it, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, beauty.
Yeah, I'll take that. I mean, little pull, didn't really fade as much as I was looking for, but that was the miss we talked about.
I mean,
right?
I mean, that's
like I'll have a longer shot in than I wanted. I'm going to be out of the rough, but I'm in play.
That's right.
Right.
I mean, you know, we'll probably have 6 or 7 iron to the green.
Yeah, yeah, good. All right, so we had a good plan.
Right.
I mean, this is
you just hit it too far.
Apparently, yeah, I just hit it too good. This is the first time I've actually ever gone, you know, through the rough on this hole and out of bounds.
You forget, I'm on the Champions Tour. We're 50 and older, and you know, we hit it 270 yards. We don't hit it 340.
We got to keep that in mind going forward. All right. So for the sake of the video, we were dropping the ball inbounds. All right, just because we're not going to waste time going back to the tee. But let me grab that cart and figure out what we got from here. Can't believe that. It's like everything that could go wrong has gone wrong so far. All right, so I got 174.
Okay. Should be almost straight down this angle.
Yeah, should be. I'm not worried about that tree.
No, the tree's not even in play.
No. I mean, I think it's just, for me, would like that's a pretty good number for my 8-iron.
Okay.
So I would just go like, yeah, a slightly softer 8-iron. I'm not going to get too cute because there is that bunker.
Yeah.
Short.
You know, and another thing, you know, yes, you have 8-iron in your hand, and,
yeah,
and you may fall in love with this pin. You know, the spot to be though would be just right of it.
Absolutely.
You know,
yeah,
that's what we have to be thinking about here.
Yeah, because there's a huge slope just left of this, right?
Right. So anything a little right of the hole here, even if you miss the green, I think is better than if you happen to hit it a little left.
I would have to agree with that. Yeah. Ball maybe slightly above my feet, but nothing crazy, right? So I would go like there's that group of palm trees.
Love it.
Just right of the hole.
Yeah,
I'm looking at like the second one from the left.
Love it.
Right.
Knock it down.
Oh, it'd be good.
Be the right number.
I mean, it finished left of it. It just grew on me a little bit, but I'm very happy with the execution there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, even you know, and that's the thing. Even if we aimed over there, and if you happen to draw it a little bit,
yeah, well, you're allowing yourself that miss, right? Whereas if you aim straight at that, if I aim straight at it, and I hit that draw, I'm on the top shelf now.
That's right.
And that's
now
dead.
we're playing defense.
There we go.
Right?
Yeah, yeah, nice. So yeah, we hit a great shot in there, but this really no gimme.
And that's the thing, you know. Of course, we would like to make this one, but a 4 is a good score.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
So, yeah. And we got a pretty good slope here. I don't know if we can play it too high.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think I agree with that. It's because the higher we go, the more it's going to come down.
Right.
All right.
I mean, like I said, I mean, I don't think, and we got grain going this way.
Yep.
So everything's going to be filtering fast down through there.
Yeah. So
now, where do you see it? Let me ask you where you see it.
I'm seeing it start just inside of that spot there.
That's pretty close.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking, you know, that's a 4.5, 5%. So
yeah,
you know, you know, my measurement said there, and if I add a little bit more to it, I mean.
Right. Then we're pretty much in the same zone again. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Big thing here is speed. You know, we're going a little uphill.
Yeah, and then it kind of crashes down left. Okay? Yeah. So now I guess almost like that putt that we did on the putting green, I got to pick a spot up here that I want to get it to, and just like gravity bring it down.
And this is another thing. You know, if we're playing a tournament,
yeah,
where do you think your next putt? Where do you want your next putt to be?
I mean, ideally right below the hole on the fall line.
So I mean, don't be afraid to get it down in this area somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. Oh. Man, we really should have picked a different putt on that green. Oh, did exactly what you told me not to do.
Well, you know, this is not as bad.
No, it's not above the hole, but it is.
I mean, you know, if you leave it here, then we got to play defense again.
Yeah, yeah.
So this one, I mean, it's going to break a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's anything like we just had.
No, but I think still got to give the hole away here a little bit.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm thinking, you know, right out in there.
That's right where I had it. Just try to match pace with that.
Yeah. Oh boy.
All right. Well, I made
easy 4, right?
Made the 4 with an asterisk on it. Thanks, Mike. Probably hybrid right now, because I don't like to get too aggressive.
Yeah.
Right.
You know.
Ooh, it's 218. Oh man, I guess I tried 3-wood today.
I tried to hit a 220-yard shot earlier.
Yeah.
So it's a 3-wood to me in this breeze.
Yeah. Yeah, this breeze.
Some kind of wedge, you know.
Well, that's it. All I'm really trying to do here is leave it up top of the hill. Right.
That's 220 from there, so we were talking 240.
Yeah. 240, 250.
That's probably a perfect hybrid for you, right?
Yeah, that'd be a good hybrid.
Yeah.
How much do we have to play that wind, though?
You know, what we like to do out there is, for every 1 mile an hour, it's a yard.
Okay, is that the rule?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what we kind of go by, you know.
Okay. So, what would be your guess as to?
I'm guessing it's blowing maybe 10.
Okay. Yeah.
So you know, if we're trying to hit at 240, with 250 can't hurt us.
Okay. Okay. I think I'll go 3-wood just because I'm not feeling super warm.
I agree.
And I just like, I guess my concern is knowing that I'm not feeling super warm and I'm going back into the breeze with that hybrid in my hand. I might subconsciously swing a little harder.
That's right.
Which even if I hit it good, is just going to put more spin on it.
Right.
You know.
And your target here?
So my target here, I usually just go at that lanai that we see there, right? Straight out ahead.
Yes.
Like kind of over the left white tee box there.
Okay. You know, the swimming pool in the background, the cover of the swimming pool.
Correct. That's exactly where I'm looking.
You know, the thing is, you know, we have pretty much the state of Florida to the right.
Right.
Okay.
That's
So
fair. Yeah.
Our thing is, let's hit it at that the pool covering and
Yeah.
see what happens.
Yeah, because I mean, to me, if it turns over a little bit, you got room before that bunker.
Right.
And like you said, you cannot miss too far right. So
Right.
all right, let's see how I do this.
Let me
here.
a good swing on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna work.
Yeah, beauty.
Yeah, it's a smart
Yeah,
target.
It's perfect. you know.
Yeah,
That's why we kind of aim to the right, just in case if we,
So
you know.
definitely wasn't trying to draw it that much.
That's right.
But good targets.
So what do you got
Helps.
here?
Little 2 hybrid,
Yeah.
a 17 degree. Love that thing. This is,
I tell you, they're getting easier and easier to hit.
oh, ridiculous. You know, when you got a club where you feel like you legitimately can't miss.
Right.
I remember telling one of my camera guys last year, I was like, the day you see me hit a bad shot with the hybrid, we're in trouble.
7 was getting pretty popular on tour now as well, which is
It's
pretty
shocking
wild.
with the kid, or I call them the kids, the PGA Tour, to see them hitting 7 wood and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But yeah, you know, we started hitting 5 woods except for the 2 irons and the 2 hybrids.
Right.
A little bit more mass, you know.
Yeah, a little easier to get up in
That's
the air, you know, especially coming into a par 5 or something, right?
Yeah.
And that's where the 3 iron I used to have was great, but I had to work hard to elevate that.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
It wasn't always easy. If the swing's not feeling great,
That's right.
elevating that 3 iron is not fun.
Well, probably 3 or 4 again.
You can't. Oh, okay, you said 115?
115.
3 or 4 down.
Yeah.
All right, I got 113, 4 down.
Well, it's just, you know, just what we do, right?
Man, that is seriously impressive.
That's just kind of what we do out there.
Yeah. All right, so, I mean, we got a wedge, which is great. I mean, we put ourselves in a great spot, actually.
Right. That's perfect.
Yeah. So, wind off the right. You know, pins a little bit at the back, so we don't want to get too aggressive with that number.
You know, another thing, you know, if the more times you leave the ball in between yourself and the pin,
Yeah,
you're going to shoot better scores.
sure.
I mean, that's just the law of the law of the land.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just, you know, if you happen to knock it over the screen, guess where it's going? In the back bunker.
Right.
Short side of yourself, and it's just all we want to do is get it over the bunker and give ourselves a chance to make
Right.
birdie.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So,
So-
what did we say? 113, 4 down, 108.
And then
108
it
playing.
could be hurting a touch because I thought, you know, for that driver to go so far on that last par 5 over there,
Yeah,
it had
it's-
to have some help to it.
Yeah, there
You
was
know
some
what I
help there. Yeah.
So I would.
there's a little hurt.
I would kind of cancel out the up and down there
Okay,
and
so just play
the number.
the 113.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna go with my 50 and just knock it down a little.
Okay.
And I guess I do, so there's a slope left of this flag.
That's right.
Right? So, I mean, I could almost start this,
At the
because it is a pretty, I was gonna say, close to the right edge of the green, right? And just let the wind bring it back
Absolutely.
in? Okay,
You
cool.
know, and if it lands in between the pin and the front, you're perfect.
Yeah, no, that would leave us in a pretty
Okay,
good spot.
yeah.
Okay, I like that. I think that's gotta sit. Sit.
Yeah, it just flew it a little far.
Yeah, that's just rust.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean,
Yeah,
still,
yeah, no.
nice strike and all that good
No,
stuff.
I'm happy with the swing. Oh, thank
Yeah.
you. I'm happy with the swing. You know, that's a
And the
just
thing,
a lack of execution.
well,
Right.
that and you know, you happen to hook it a little bit.
Right,
And what does it do when you hook it? You hit it a little bit farther.
right.
You know, a lot
And
of,
especially with that wind off the right.
Absolutely.
So now
So-
we're
so basically
hooking
all
it
we're
and
doing-
riding the wind.
that's right.
Yeah, yeah. All right, okay.
Yeah, I hit that crispy. That was good. I'm happy with the swing.
Yeah.
Just that dialing in the wedge distances when you've been hitting into a screen.
I mean, I'm
50
about to
feet.
say, I mean, it's just.
I can't expect to come down.
Have you
here.
been watching the TGL or anything when you
Yeah,
have
a little bit. Yeah.
That kind of shows you. I mean, it's a different game.
It's a completely different game.
It's a
Yeah.
different game. I mean, it makes those guys look funny, you know?
Oh yeah, there's been some moments. Yeah.
All right, Mike, so as we know, just hit that a little long.
Yeah.
So bunker shot, slightly short-sided.
Uh-huh.
To me, when I look at this, I'm like, all right, I got a bit of an upslope, and the greens actually slope towards us a little bit, which is nice.
Right.
Wind might be a little down, but it's more off the left. So like, yeah, this is not necessarily a great
hardest
situation
shot.
to be in, but it's not the hardest shot.
That's right.
Right, it should be pretty easy to kind of get some height on this. And I guess if you were to walk through this with one of your players, you're basically just trying to land this on the green, just let it release
Let
up.
it release to the hole, you know.
Okay, all right. Let's see if
I don't try to get too cute with it, you know, aim a little left of the hole here and hopefully it bounces right at.
Sure, yeah.
Just pick your point out there and just try to land it and let it filter to the hole.
see what kind of feel I got out of the bunkers here. Better lie than the first hole, at least.
Just like that.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah, it's, you painted good pictures.
Yeah, you know, that's, I think a lot of times people kind of perfection, you know,
Yeah.
they expect everything to be good and just pick your point spot out there and just
Sure.
give yourself a chance to make a point.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You
No, don't overcomplicate it, right?
That's right. I mean, you don't have to hit every shot perfect. As you see, there's certain guys out there on tour, they just kind of bore you.
Right.
You know, they hit bad shots.
Yeah.
But that's what they do when they hit a bad shot.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Now, at the end of the day, you add up the score and they shot 65, and you're like, wow, he really didn't hit it that great?
Yeah. Yeah, but they just know how to score.
That's right.
Right? And I know early in my pro career where, like, I didn't know what I was doing at all. I didn't know how to play the game. I could hit the ball, couldn't putt, but, you know, but in terms of, like, managing the course and all that, just really had no clue. And I'd get paired up with these, you know, guys who were, you know, 50 plus in these pro events, guys who, you know, club pros, right? Who couldn't hit their driver past 220, but would come in, shoot 67, 68 every round. I was like, how?
Right.
How does he do that every day? And I'm out driving him by 80, 90 yards, and I'm coming in with a 73. You know, those watching at home, you might know a guy at your club like that who doesn't hit it that far, but just scores.
That's right.
Right?
There's a lot of guys that make a living doing it.
Yeah, and watch what they do. Because generally, they're not in trouble very often.
So this is another thing with 3-footers here.
Yeah.
I mean, if y'all remember back at when it was Tiger, and the year Tiger won the Masters, what was that?
Recently?
Yeah.
2019.
2019.
I guess it's not that recent anymore, but
the rumor was that, you know, he had this putt.
Yeah.
And he asked his caddy, Joe, and he said, I want you to read it for me.
Okay.
And Joe said, you have 3 feet. There's no break there, right?
Okay.
So, you know, but as you see, the best players in the world still get a little nervous over 3
Sure,
footers.
sure.
But once again, there's not much break on a 3-footer.
No. So, and
So you just
this is
gotta
why,
trust it.
Yeah, and this is where you see tour guys who they're not going to take it outside the hole.
That's right.
Even if there is a little bit, and they're just going to hammer it.
That's right.
Right. Just get nice and firm with it.
Yeah.
All right.
Should be pretty straight. Drain into you, maybe touch to the left, so
Yeah.
just like that.
Yeah, that was a nice confident stroke. That's something I got to get better at this year with those. All right, let's see.
I'm guessing 80-ish.
Okay, 69.
69?
Yeah, yeah, that's
I
all
thought we
right.
had 65 from up there. They told me the wrong number earlier.
They must have. 69 downwind.
So the front of the green, you know, this is not a typical par 3 green here, okay?
Oh,
So,
no, yeah.
Yeah,
This is a challenging one.
Yeah, you know, I thought I hit a pretty good shot here today, and it rolled off the green.
Yes.
Where you aim here is, what you don't want to be is left of the hole.
Right,
You know?
right. So 'cause now I just happened to be here when you hit that shot earlier. So Mike ended up all the way down on the right side of the green. It landed at, what, I don't know, 12 feet right, 15 feet right, and it just takes that slope and it's gone. But you are better there than anything left.
That's right.
So let's say like when you hit your shot earlier.
I was aimed, you see that? I caught it like a little mound there. It was probably,
Over the back of the green?
yeah,
Yeah.
kind of like in the center, left center of that.
Gotcha.
That's where I was looking.
So
Because I
that's-
know what's going to happen.
And that's basically the crest of that slope,
Yeah.
right? And then if, let's
If
say
I
I
happen
draw
to
it
draw
like
it,
the second shot on,
absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
perfect, ends up there. Whereas if I go flag and I hit the second shot that we hit on 2,
We're making 5 or 6 or 7.
that's it. We're in the bunker or over the bunker, which isn't better.
Making 5, 6
Yeah.
or 7.
So we got 169. I got 9 iron because we got some decent wind behind us right now. And I'm just going to try and hit it high and let the wind carry it back towards the middle of the green here. Come on, be the number.
Let's see what happens.
That's gone.
You know, that was a great shot.
It is though.
You know,
It is.
It's a great shot. And we're
Literally
in
the exact
same
shot we were trying to hit.
Right.
Right.
So we're going to be in the same spot.
But like
I
you
don't know if they can see that
can't
on
be
TV.
upset with that.
Don't know,
Right.
they can see that on the camera, but I mean, you landed that ball literally 15 feet right of the hole.
Right.
And now
Yeah.
we have a 70-footer.
That's fun.
Sometimes
That's fun.
golf is
Yeah.
just unfair.
Yeah, I mean, this hole is brutal.
Yeah.
Right. Like this is a hole where a 3 feels really good.
Right.
Which, considering it's not that long.
And that's what I tell my boys, you know, get a 3 and get out of here.
Yeah.
But you've got some bad teams out there that sharp. You know, of course, they're going to hit it over there, and they're not going to buy it.
Right.
It'll be here all day.
Yeah. I like how clear I'm seeing my target.
There you go.
The more we walk through this,
There you go.
right? And I found specifically when I was down here in November, and like I was filming some stuff in Virginia on my ride home. When I'm out there by myself and I'm just setting the camera up on the tripod, I go really, really deep into explaining.
Yeah.
And it's almost as if I'm having the conversation we're having.
There you go. There you go.
But I end up playing amazing on those days.
Yeah.
Like the number of rounds that I've played, just me and the camera, where I've played some unbelievable golf, and I was thinking about it on this drive because I got so much time to drive home.
Right.
Like, why? Why does that always happen? And I'm thinking about, like, you got the clearest picture in your head of what you're trying to do. You've just talked it all out loud.
That's how you play your best golf.
Absolutely. So I got to start doing that in tournaments.
Yeah, you gotta have a clear head and
Right.
positive
Right.
thoughts, you know? I mean, just like 90% of guys that just hit the shot you hit
Yeah.
and where it ended up
Yeah.
wouldn't be happy.
Right.
You
Well,
know, you
me,
just have to take their medicine. And
me a
just-
couple years ago, I wouldn't have been happy.
Right. I mean,
And-
you know, you hit a great shot.
Yeah, I did.
It's
Yeah.
just, you know, of course the camera doesn't do the screen justice.
No, it's a huge slope.
I mean, it's,
Yeah.
I mean, I could roll, I mean, I could lay down and probably roll to the where your ball is, you know?
Yeah.
But this is where everything gathers.
Well, that's it. This is the low spot, right? This would be bottom of the fall
Yeah.
line. Oh man, I'm gonna have to hit this hard, huh? Jeez.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. So we know it's uphill.
Uphill all the way into the green. I do believe I haven't walked to the hole yet, but
Yeah,
I
it
can see
should
it's
be.
dark,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely not shiny.
But I feel like earlier when I had this putt, it went a little right.
really?
It did. So let's play
Okay.
it straight at it. I mean,
Well,
'cause,
so
you know,
I
I
see
tried to get it
definitely
to go
should.
left.
Yeah, I think it should go a little left at the top, shouldn't it?
That's what I
Oh,
was
you know what? I'm like where it crests. It almost looks like it wants to go a little right. Now that you say that.
yeah, I mean, like I said, it didn't really want to go left.
Yeah.
It went more right than I thought.
So like we briefly mentioned this earlier. I see it going left at the beginning, but of course it's still going to be skidding. It's going to
That's
have
right.
a ton of pace on it,
Because you
so
gotta
it's
hit
not
this
really
thing
going to
really
turn
hard.
that much.
That's right.
And realistically, on a putt of this length, the line,
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
you know,
Speed is everything.
speed is absolutely everything.
Everything.
And
You know, even if you
my
know,
speed control is not
back when
been
I was a kid,
exemplary.
you know, we had like a 3-foot ring around the hole.
Yes. Yes.
That's basically what you
Oh,
want.
absolutely. Anything inside of 3
You
feet
know,
from here,
even
you're
if
pretty
if
happy.
it does break left, you know,
Yeah.
just your speed.
Yeah. So we're just going straight at it.
Yeah.
Okay. Just stay up there, please.
It did.
Okay. Wow.
But I mean, how slow was that thing?
I mean, I felt like I made a full backswing there. Like that was a good shoulder
That's what I'm
turn for
saying,
me.
The slope of this screen, I mean, you can't see it at home on the camera.
No, but I mean, you feel it in the calves walking
Yeah.
up that little slope there.
But you see, I mean, the ball really didn't want to go left.
No, it really didn't turn. And if anything, at the top, it did start to go a little right.
But you
Yeah.
know, we do have some grain going this way, so maybe
Yeah.
if it gets on top here, maybe it should, when it starts slowing down.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Right.
So yeah, I've got where I would play this. I'm curious to know where you would, where you see this one.
I would play it right in here.
So like half cup out kind of thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that what you're seeing?
I was seeing a little less.
A little less.
Yeah.
But
But
this is where I kind of go back to the player and the caddy. You know, this is where I like it in the speed I see.
right.
You see a little different speed.
So what speed were you seeing? Are you seeing like dying pace?
Sort of,
Okay.
you know?
So then that makes sense because I was seeing like, let's say, just out a hair more than a ball out, but with more pace.
There you go. See,
Right, so then it
that's
matches
the thing
up.
the player and the caddy have to talk about a little
Sure, of course. Yeah.
bit. Because you're hitting the putt.
Well, and that's a mistake that I made with my caddy earlier in my career. Is I'd get him to help with reads, and we just wouldn't talk about
yes.
pace.
Because you're hitting the putt.
Yeah. So that's it. It's got to match the way I'm going to hit
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
So
Basically,
still
what
uphill.
I think what caddies is just another set of eyes.
Yeah.
To make sure that you're on the same page. That you know the caddies don't see the ball going a total different way than what you're seeing.
That's it. A lot of the time when I asked the caddy for the read, it was just like, just give me confirmation. Give me the confidence that I need to be able to put a good stroke on this, right? If you're seeing approximately the same thing, I feel pretty good about my read, you know? All right, let's see if I can convert this one here.
Straight in. How about that? How about that?
That actually looked like it tried to go right at the end.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, and I said that down there. It was crazy when I hit this putt earlier. It did not want to go left, and then I'm still trying to get to go left.
But I mean, everything you look at, everything you're feeling, says that the low point's there.
That's right. You know, they birdie cut, so it could be a little
right. Could be that.
A little goofy right now, but
now could be wind.
Yeah,
could be wind. Of course.
There you go.
We got all the excuses on this channel.
So
yeah. But Mike, that was
fun.
Awesome, man. Thank you very much. Thank you. Very insightful. I think the viewers are going to enjoy this.
I hope so. And if there's anything I do later on down the road, just let me know.
I appreciate that, man.
I would love if you ever make it
to
a tournament. Maybe we can work together and let's see what happens.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We'll give you a call, no doubt.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll try and bring you out to the rubber match between Boo and I in the fall.
I would love to do that.
That could be a lot of fun, knowing that you're good buddies with him.
Oh,
and get a little more banter going out there.
I can give it.
I'm sure you can. I'm sure you can. Boo's pretty good at it too.
Yeah, Boo is the best. Boo is the best.